Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a question a lot of people whisper under their breath when they look at the housing market. Are we not meant to survive? You know, but honestly, when we look at prices, right? Mortgage rates, insurance spikes, hidden costs, sometimes it genuinely feels like the system has very different plans for us. But here's the thing, in 2026, it is being called a reset year. Not a crash, and not a boom. It is just something in between. And today I'm breaking down what's really going on and what it means for everyday people trying to build stability. Right? So, what is the state of the housing market in 2026? Let's start with the big picture. The U.S. housing market in 2026 is offering modest relief, I should say. But unfortunately, the affordability crisis, honey, that is still very much alive. It's still very much alive. Mortgage rates, they're projected to average around 6.3%, a slight improvement from 2025, but still far from, I should say, pandemic days. Home prices, they're expected to rise slowly. I don't know how slow they rise because they are never going down. About 2% nationally, but so for anyone hoping for a price crash, that's not what's gonna happen. No. And major analysts agree, right? So we got Redfin. They forecast that home prices are gonna rise about 1%. Then you have Zillow, 1.2%. Realtor.com, 2.2%. Fannie Mae, they see 1.3% growth. So yes, prices, they're not dropping nationally, but regionally, well, that's a different story. Realtor.com, they predict that prices will drop in 22 major U.S. cities, mostly in the South and West. Some Florida metros may see the decline to about 10%, up to about 10%. And remember, even with these declines, homes are still sitting near record values. Apartments are no better. Apartments are just as bad. So why do we feel like we can't survive? Well, let's talk about the emotional reality. Because the numbers don't tell the story. More than 4 out of 5 Americans say home ownership is out of reach. And it isn't because prices are high. It's because the definition of affordable housing is broken. There's no affordable housing. Zillow, well, they explain that affordability metrics don't reflect taxes, bingo, insurance, or actual take-home payment. And those hidden costs, property tax, you got insurance premiums that are exploded in states at climate risk. You got maintenance costs that have surged due to the inflated labor costs and materials. And some homeowners are paying tens of thousands of dollars per year on top of their mortgage, right? No wonder people are feeling like the housing market is actively working against their survival. So now there's this thing called the lock-in effect, how we get stuck, right? And one reason the housing market feels impossible is the lock-in effect. What is the lock-in effect, right? Over 52% of homeowners have mortgage rates under 4%, and about 70% are under 5%. So why would anyone give up a 3% mortgage to go buy at 6.3%, right? They wouldn't, and they don't, which makes sense. This is why housing inventory is so tight, even as demand cools. As experts say, life events, not mortgage, are actually what drives transactions. Marriage, divorce, births, job changes. People move because they have to, not because the market is friendly. Mm. So, what are some hidden shifts that are happening in 2026? And there's four of them. But keep in mind, even though affordability is still a mess, 2026 is slightly shifting. Shift one, more inventory. Why do we need more inventory? But anyway, new listings are up about 3.2% year over year. And homes are sitting longer, about 46 days on the market, which means buyers finally have room to negotiate. Shift two, builders, they are offering incentives, rate buy downs, closing cost credits, even cuts in oversupplied markets, right? Now, Redfin notes new construction supply is giving buyers leverage they haven't seen since the pandemic. Shift three, home values stabilizing. Zillow, they expect homes value to be at almost 0.9% for the year. Existing home sales should be slightly rise to 4.2 million. Excuse me. And shift four, renters gain negotiation power. Renters, listen to this. We gain negotiation power because multifamily vacancies are rising. Rents in many cities will barely move or even fall, right? Single family rents are projected to rise only 1.1%. And multifamily, they're going to drop maybe 0.2%. Now, no, that doesn't fix the housing crisis, but it does mean that the market is losing its grip. Just a little, just a little, just a little. So, the housing market isn't trying to destroy us, but it's not helping us either. It's not trying to destroy us, but it's not helping either. Go figure, right? So let's answer the big question. Are we not meant to survive? Well, the system isn't actually targeting individuals, but the combination of high prices, stagnant wages, and hitting homebuyer costs, that creates a structure where survival feels increasingly out of reach for normal households. Every optimistic forecast, modest improvement, not relief. Here we go. Realtor.com forecast. Mortgage rates averaging 6.3%, prices rising 2.2%, and existing home sales up just 1.7%. That is not a thriving market. That's a market on life support, where buyers and sellers are exhausted, cautious, and financially stretched. And as Redfin notes, the mood is still tense. Yeah, pending sales declining, even as new listing rises. It's a market waiting for direction. And I don't know why they keep putting up houses and condos and luxury apartments. We need some affordable housing. So what do we do? That's what I've been trying to figure out. So if the system isn't designed to help us survive, how do we navigate it anyway? That's why a lot of people are going to van life, getting RVs, and soon, you know what's going to happen? That's going to be saturated. Even that's going to go up. But here's the practical moves as 2026 forecast. Don't wait for 3% rates. Well, don't even wait for raises because they're not coming back. Even NAR expects mortgage rates to hover around 6%. And that 6% not fall dramatically. 2, focus on cities where prices are projected to fall. Florida markets like Cape Coral and Fort Lauderdale, they may drop up to 10%. Negotiate, especially with builders. Builders are using discounts and rate buydowns to move inventory. They don't have a choice. If you rent, leverage your power. Rents are softening because supplies are rising. This is the first time in years that renters have had real negotiation leverage. I never knew that. Um, you know, and definitely understand the real cost of home. You got a bunch for taxes, insurance, for maintenance, for utilities, because these are the costs most likely to break your budget, not just the mortgage. So, at the end of the day, the housing market isn't just designed for quick wins anymore. It's slow, it's an enemy. And yes, it feels hostile sometimes, but knowledge is power. Do your homework just like I'm doing. When you understand the forces shaping the market, you don't feel defeated. You feel prepared. If this helps you to understand the 2026 housing landscape, I should say, hit that like button and subscribe. Please share this with someone who you may think will benefit. And tell me in the comments, does the housing market make you feel like, are we not meant to survive? I know as for me, it does. So let's talk about it. But thanks for watching. And until the next time, I will see you in the next video. Do your homework. Bye.